Good afternoon. Welcome to Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council's meeting on Wednesday, the 5th of February 2025. Please note that this meeting has been recorded and may be broadcast via the authority's internet site. The images and sound recording may also be used for training purposes within the authority. So we move on to the first item on the agenda, which is apologies for absence. I believe we haven't any. Everybody's present. Thank you. Second item then is declarations of interest. Have we got any declarations of interest on agenda items? Nope, that's great. This is just in respect to the open session. Okay, thank you. No declarations of interest. So we move on to agenda item 3, which is the Budget Consultation 25-26, to consider the report from the Director of Governance and Resources. Councillor Anna Williams-Price, would you like to refer to the report?
Thank you. Our annual budget engagement with Merthyr Tydfil citizens is a crucial milestone when formulating our budget, and it is important to consider the public's opinions when completing this exercise. Through an active campaign over the last few months, residents have been able to offer their views on council priorities via the web or face-to-face at our Cabinet roadshows. Working closely with our excellent comms and consultation team, we've achieved an increase in numbers in participation, with approximately a 50% increase on the last year. There is still more to do. My priority is that our comms and engagement work is strengthened not only on budget matters, but in other areas of council work as well. The result of this year's efforts in detail can be seen at section 5 of the report. And before going to the recommendations, I would like to thank all those who engage in the team all those who engage in the consultation and the team for facilitating. I would highlight residents' focus on education being the major priority, which matches our Cabinet priorities following confirmation that our schools will not receive cuts to their budget this year as in previous years. So I will move the recommendation, which is at 2.1. The results of the budget consultation be received, considered and approved.
Thanks, Councillor Williams-Price. Do we have a seconder for the motion? Yeah. Thanks, Councillor Lewis. Do we have any questions? Any comments? No, I'll comment quickly if that's okay. Just like to offer my thanks to the whole of the corporate comms team for the fantastic consultation effort they've put in. They worked tirelessly along with members of the Cabinet going out into different parts of the community, which was great to see. And this was by far the best consultation we've had so far. So thank you all very much for your efforts. It's very much appreciated, and we look forward to next year's slightly different consultation exercise, which will bring a different result again. So on behalf of myself, thank you all very, very much. Okay, there's no more comments, so can we take that to the vote, please? Thanks, Caris. Move on to agenda item 4, the Corporate Risk Management Quarter 3, to consider a report from the Director of Governance and Resources. Councillor Anna Williams-Price, would you like to refer to the report?
Thank you. This update on Quarter 3 of the Corporate Risk Register, members will appreciate, comes quickly after Quarter 2 report, which, due to delay, featured in last month's meeting. With that said, it's important to note that there has been progress between the two reports, and I can refer you to points 5.2 through to 5.5. The ambition to continue strengthening our processes and mitigate risks are evident in Section 7, and as I've mentioned in last month's report, I'm sure members will appreciate that there has been a huge amount of activity in this area. So I'd like to move the recommendation of 2.1, which is progress on the management of the Council's corporate risks and the Corporate Risk Register as at the end of Quarter 3, be approved.
Thanks, Councillor Williams-Price. Do we have somebody to second it?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Do we have any questions? Nothing on corporate risk management? Any comments? No comments? Okay, we'll take that to the vote, please. Thanks, Caris. We'll move on to agenda item 5, which is the revenue budget monitoring 24-25, quarter 3, to consider a report from the Director of Finance. Councillor Anna Williams-Price, would you like to refer to the report, please?
Thank you. Monitoring reports on the revenue budget are a regular part of healthy and efficient oversight of finances, in line with the Chartered Institute of Public Finance best practice. This quarter 3 report clarifies the outturn up to the end of last December and points to an improved position from quarter 2, in the main due to Welsh Government grant covering the National Joint Council pay. I would encourage colleagues to follow the narrative from the directorates covered in 4.51 to 4.56 and note the corporate vacancy factor savings projection. Clearly, a net surplus of £750,000 is to be commended, and there is always more work needed, but I'd like to thank Finance Director Craig Flynn and his officers for their hard efforts in this area. I will move the recommendations, which is 2.1, the Revenue Budget Monitoring Report for the 24-25 financial year based on third quarter projections be accepted. 2.2, budget variants outlined in Appendix 2 be approved. And 2.3, managers to urgently address projected budget deficits within their respective service areas, identifying all possible remedial measures to offset projected deficits be approved.
Thanks, Councillor Anna Williams-Price. Do we have a seconder for the motion?
Happy second, Chair.
What's going on with the buttons? Yeah. Thank you very much.
He said that without moving his lips.
Do we have any questions? Thank you. Any comments? No. We'll take that to vote then, please. Okay, we'll move on to the last item on the strategic session, which is agenda item 6, the Capital Monitoring Report 23-24 outturn and 24-25 quarter 2 to consider report from the Director of Finance. Again, Councillor Anna Williams-Price would like to refer to the report, please.
Thank you. As with the previous item, this report is one of our regular milestones in our financial observance. This time we were considering the capital outturn for last year and the monitoring report for the capital budget of quarter 2 of this year. The headline for the 23-24 outturn is an underspend of circa 9.2 million, with that being broken down of 5.6 million of external funding and 3.6 million of core, while the total amount spent was 56.34 million. It is worth noting that these figures are dependent on the final audit of accounts. Notable points from this year's quarter 2 period are an underspend in the core expenditure of nearly 1.4 million and the arrival of just over 67 million of new external funds, all with all terms and conditions to be met, which is a considerable undertaking for our officers, but a welcome one. This brings our projected total spend for the year to nearly 76 million, with an underspend of 23 million. So I would like to move the recommendations as follows. 2.1, the provisional capital outturn position for the 23-24 financial year be noted. 2.2, the capital budget monitoring report for 24-25 financial year based on quarter 2 projections be accepted. 2.3, the budget amendments to core funded projects be approved. 2.4, variance to the revised budgets be noted. And 2.5, the amendments to the proposed 24-25 capital budget following the 23-24 carry forward requirements as per paragraph 4.5 be approved.
Thanks, Councillor Anna Williams-Price. Do we have a seconder for the motion?
No, thank you, Chair. Happy to second the motion.
Thanks, Councillor Scriven. Can we open that up to questions, please? Any comments? Can we take that to the vote then, please? Thanks, Caris. Moving on to the portfolio items, agenda item 7 is a school instrument of government to consider a report from the Director of Education. Councillor Gareth Lewis, would you like to refer to the report,
Thank you,
please?
Chair. This report relates to a request from the governing body at Edwardsville Primary School to increase its size. The current composition consists of 13 members, and the request is to increase its size to 17 members, resulting in an additional one community governor, an additional local authority governor, additional parent governor, and an additional teacher governor. It's important to note the reasons for the change, and these are outlined in sections 4.2 and 4.3 of the report. They are in section 4.2 in response to new school improvement guidance issued by Welsh Government in terms of evaluation, improvement and evaluation, and to further expand the skills and knowledge of the governing body. There is one recommendation outlined in the report under 2.1. That's the new instrument of government for Edwardsville Primary School be approved. I so move. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Lewis. Do we have a seconder for the recommendation, please?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Do we have any questions? Any comments? We'll take that to the vote then, please. And that's carried. Thank you very much. We move on to agenda item 8, organisation of the new LRB classes. To consider a report from the Director of Education. Councillor Gareth Lewis would like to refer to the report, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. To support the needs of ASD pupils and enhance this authority's ALN provision, a pilot learning resource base, LRB, for ASD pupils at foundation phase was set up at Dowlas Primary School in 2023. Also in 2023, a pilot LRB provision for complex ASD pupils was established at Cyfarthfa High School. Both pilot schemes have been considered a success, and this report provides the outcome of the statutory consultation to formally establish an LRB at each school. The consultation resulted in overwhelming support of over 90% for each provision, which highlights both the need and demand for this specialised in ALN provision. And following completion of the statutory processes, if approved, both LRBs will be formally recognised from the start of this summer term. The recommendations are outlined in the report, and my screen has just gone blank, unfortunately. However, they go from 2.1 to 2.2, that the formal establishment of the ASD LRB provision in Dowlas Primary School and Key Stage 3-4 complex ASD LRB at Cyfarthfa High School be approved. 2.2, that the issuing of the appropriate statutory notice in accordance with the school organisational code be approved. I move, Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Lewis. Do we have somebody to second the recommendation, please?
Thank you. Happy to second.
Thanks, Councillor Anna Williams-Price. Do we have any questions? Any comments? We'll take that to the vote as well then, please. Thanks, Caris. We'll move on to agenda item 9, which is a Care Inspectorate Wales Foster Wales inspection to consider the report of the Director of Social Services. Councillor Louise Minette-Vaux, would you like to refer to the report, please?
Thank you. Following a routine inspection last November with Care Inspectorate Wales as part of a Wales-wide review, has delivered its final report on Foster Wales Merthyr Tydfil, our team that supports foster carers to meet the needs of referred children. As colleagues can appreciate, fostering is highly regulated with detailed legislation needing to be met to ensure foster children can thrive safely. With this high bar, there are understandably some points from the review that the team can focus on, and I refer to pages 10 to 11 of the report for those. However, it is worth highlighting there were no priority actions that needed immediate action, and the trajectory for the team is one of improvement, underpinned by the action plan developed preceding the inspection. There was also clear best practice identified with safeguarding, prioritisation of children's voice, and the centering of children in their foster homes all being noted. Before going to the recommendation, I'd like to spotlight the sentiment on 4.9 of the report. Foster Wales Merthyr Tydfil aspires to be a high-functioning service that has placement sufficiency and provides high levels of support to its carers and staff. I'd like to thank everyone involved in their efforts in seeking to achieve this. Therefore, I would like to move the recommendation in 2.1 that the findings of the inspection report and action plan be discussed and noted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Louise Minette-Vaux. Do we have somebody to second the recommendation set out, please?
Yeah, happy to support, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Scriven. Can we open that up to questions, please? Members' comments? We have now. We'll take that to the vote as well, please. Thank you, Caris. We'll move on to agenda item 10, which is the Charter for Families Bereaved by Public Tragedy, to consider the report from the Director of Social Services. Councillor Louise Minette-Vaux, would you like to refer to the report, please?
Thank you. The Charter for Families Bereaved through Public Tragedy builds on the important 2017 review undertaken by Bishop James Jones into the Hillsborough disaster, a report to ensure the pain and suffering of the Hillsborough families is not repeated. A key recommendation of that landmark report was to seek a charter to bring about substantial change in the culture of public bodies by promoting transparency and ensuring the public interest is paramount. This report, following work throughout 2004 by South Wales Police, brings forward that 6-point charter and asks that Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council implements. I do not need to remind colleagues of the relevance of this charter to our county borough. The heartbreaking event that befell Aberfan on the morning of the 21st of October 1966, the 144 lost lives and the impact on those that remained, and we all know that it still echoes throughout our community. I would like to move the recommendations highlighted in 2.1, the Charter for Families Bereaved through Public Tragedy be adopted, and 2.2, delegated authority be given to the Chief Executive to sign the Charter on behalf of Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council.
Thank you, Councillor Louise Minette-Vaux. Do we have somebody to second the motion? Recommendation, sorry. Thank you, Councillor Lewis. Can we take that to questions, please? Members' questions? Members' comments? We'll take that to the vote then, please, Caris.
Again, Chair, I think you're pressing it too soon. And then it's carried.
Lovely. Okay, thanks for that. As you'll be no doubt be aware, item 12 or maybe 13 on your sheets, depending on which copy you've got, the Shared Prosperity Fund has been moved to closed session, which is item 19. Or the Healthy Charter. Sorry, I apologise, Jamie. I skipped forward. Go back to agenda item 11. The Healthy Travel Charter, cum Taff Morgano, to consider the report of the Chief Executive, Councillor Scriven.
Well, thank you, Chair. I thought you were being forward thinking, but I can't forgive you on the last one. Yeah, the purpose of the report is that we go with the intention of being represented on the Healthy Travel Network with Cwm Taff Morgannwg. And that will be part of the process of developing a healthy travel charter as well. So as pointed out in 3.2, this is going to support tackling climate emergency in Wales, supporting the design of an active travel environment that will support healthy lifestyles, supporting staff to choose walking, cycling and public transport where possible, and the delivery of local councils' wellbeing plans. So if I can just go to the recommendations, and that is a 2.1, that the authority becoming a member of the Healthy Travel Network and committing to the Healthy Travel Charter be approved, and that 2.2, that there's the nomination of an officer to represent the authority within this process then to be approved. So I move, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Scriven. Do we have somebody to second?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Can we take that to members' questions, please? Any members' comments? We'll take that to the vote then, please. Thanks, Caris. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which was item 12, the Shared Prosperity Fund Programme 25-26, but that's been moved into the closed session under item 19. So the next items are the information reports, and they're going to be 13, 14, 15, or they could be 14, 15, 16, depending on which copy of the reports you have. Okay, so we'll move on then to the last item to deal with any other business deemed urgent by the chair. There is none. So that concludes the open session of the meeting. Can I ask Democratic Services to stop recording, please? Oh, yes, apologies. Okay, in order, agenda item 17, the exempt reports. In order for the following to be considered in private, it's suggested that the public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 14 and part 4 of section schedule 12A, section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972. I'm happy to move section 100. Do we have somebody to second it?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Can I ask Democratic Services to now stop the recorder? Oh, we need to vote on it, sorry. It's been a long day so far.
And that's carried.
Thanks,
So now we
Caris.
can close
Now, for the third time, Matthew, sorry.